Hello everyone, so I actually had a plan for this video. I was going to do a little Q&A and it was all going to be really nice and fun and like organised. But then migraine happened and I guess that's why I'm here today. I'm currently experiencing post-stroke, which is what the technical term for what I like to call migraine hangover. If you've ever had a migraine, you will know what this feels like. It's when the pain has subsided but you're left with this sort of overhanging exhaustion, lack of concentration, brain fog, just basically inability to function and all that good stuff. I thought today I'd come on here and talk about migraines because, well, I wanted to make this for a while because the lovely Jessica Kelgan-Fozard, who is a YouTuber who I love very, very much, she talks about disability, chronic illness, vintage stuff, history, all of that. Amazing, amazing. She made a video about migraines, and since I am a migraine sufferer, I wanted to make my own video about it and it really inspired me. So here we are today. Also, I know that I look very presentable right now. I'm professional at making myself look half decent when I feel like crap. If I look in the mirror and see that I look good, I start to feel better. So I guess that's why. So, where to begin? It's really tricky because I can't pinpoint an age really. Oh, this is a bit wonky. There we go. When I started having migraines, because I've basically had them as long as I can remember. When I was younger, I used to get headaches a lot. They would often be really bad and then I'd have to like lie in a dark room and everyone would have to be quiet, and sometimes I'd be sick, and I also got travel sick, and it was not good. So I think when I was about 7, I went to a specialist about it, I think, maybe. Definitely went to a doctor about it anyway. They did the whole like check and make sure there's nothing seriously wrong, and they said that essentially I'm prone to migraines and I need to make sure that I take paracetamol as soon as possible and then hopefully they will go away. What I later learned is that apparently migraines are genetic, so thanks mum for that one. You know, it's lots of fun. For a few years after that, it was basically just like I'd have to tell people at school, like the nurse and stuff. When I went to her to get paracetamol, I'd be like, look, you need to give me paracetamol. Usually people go to the nurse and say like, oh, I've got a headache, and they're just like, have some water. I was like, I had to like state like, you know, I have to take paracetamol, otherwise it could get really bad. And that kind of was fine for a while. It was under control, and it was very rare that I would get to a point where I was being sick because of it. I've always been prone to migraines, and this was just a thing that I knew, but I didn't consider the headaches that I got most of the time to be migraines. It was just kind of like, I get a lot of headaches and they can turn into migraines later on if I don't take paracetamol. It just became just a normal thing in my life. I'm prone to headaches, this is just a thing. Until about a year ago when things started to go a bit downhill. I can't remember when this started, but I was just getting worse and worse headaches, and it got to the point maybe at the start of this year where I was literally having a headache every single day. Not a bad headache, it would be low level, kind of like maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 in the pain scale, and it would just be there, just present, and I would knock back paracetamol constantly. And when I say constantly, I mean like I would probably take paracetamol at least once every day, or at least once every couple of days. Like it was not good. My parents, bless their hearts, didn't understand that I was having a migraine every day, well, a headache every day, as I thought at the time. So obviously I was telling them like I still have a headache, and they were like, you can't have a headache, like you just, because the thing is, it sounds crazy, doesn't it? Like, you can't have a headache every single day of your life. Whereas before, I'd have maybe one bad migraine every 3 or 4 months. I was getting one like every month, which, you know, it's not that bad, but it's not normal, basically. So I went to the doctors about it, and they checked me over, and they were like, yeah, everything seems fine, go and get an eye test. And then they referred me to a neurologist. So I went to the neurologist, told him that I had a headache every day, and he was like, yeah, you have a headache every day. And I was like, what? Sorry? I mean, I know I have a headache every day, but people have just been telling me that's not possible. So I was like, just baffled by this. And I think this varies in terms of how it works for different people, but for me that means that I have a low-level migraine every single day. So if you've ever had one migraine in your life, they're painful, like bad migraines are very painful. Just imagine that toned down a little bit. That's what I have every day of my life. Basically, there's a thing called rebound headaches where if you're taking painkillers often, I think one packet of paracetamol that you can buy from the supermarket is meant to last you over a month, and I was getting through at least 2 of those per month, which I know is really unhealthy, but that was the situation I was in. It's just like knocking back paracetamol constantly, dull the pain, and it was all gonna be fine. He told me I shouldn't take paracetamol unless I really need to. It can make them worse, basically, if you rely on paracetamol. I had to really tone down my use of paracetamol, which was really tricky because I'm so used to taking them so often, because, you know, I think my average migraine level every day is probably a 4 out of 10. You know, I go about my life, I go to school, I work, I do all these things, and I can't take paracetamol unless it's really bad. But currently, at least I have a diagnosis. I'm a chronic migraine haver, and I'm currently on medication for it, which is doing absolutely nothing. But I have to try it for 3 months. I'm on an antidepressant called nortriptyline because, I don't know, that's what I was put on. I would think I was put on that maybe mid-August, and I was told that it would start showing signs of improvement at the start of September, and it hasn't. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video and talk about my migraines, basically, because they're really not a fun thing to have to deal with. I mean, the majority of the time, if it's really bad, like, I'll go straight to bed. Like, there's no hope of me staying awake watching TV, none of that. You can't just, like, relax. You have to just go to bed, like, you're in bed. I don't often throw up nowadays, but I do feel very sick, so I'll be sat in my bed with a sick ball on my knees, probably crying, but trying not to cry because that makes me feel worse, and just not really knowing what to do with myself, to be quite honest. Moving makes it worse for me anyway, like getting up and walking about, it's like, that's what I feel like a bit today. So yeah, that happened to me last night. I went to bed, knocked back some paracetamol, went to sleep, woke up this morning, still had a headache. Still have a headache now, but it's going away, like I'm on the back end of it now, so hopefully it'll be gone, but I'm still left with all of that kind of like fog and just not really being able to do much. It's quite hard to explain to teachers at school that, like, I haven't done my homework because I had a headache. It's often frequently used as an excuse by people who want to leave school and go home early. And my head teacher actually made the point at the start of the year of saying, if you have a headache, you can't just go home. And it's hard to explain to somebody who doesn't have a headache literally every day of their life, well, a migraine actually every day of their life, that I can't just sort of stay in school and hope it's going to go away, because it literally debilitates me. I can't function when I have a headache, when it's bad. And I've had it before in school, like, I just had a normal headache, everyday headache, and I was like, it'll be fine. And anyway, it got worse and worse and worse. So I went to reception to tell the nurse, and I was like, look, I can't even function right now, I'm gonna have to call my parents. So I called my parents, and neither of them picked up the phone. They recently did out my school reception with, I think, these really white, like, bright lights, not like warm coloured lights, like they're white lights, which is the worst kind of light when you have a headache. So I ended up sitting on the back stairs trying to, like, not sit in the light because it was, like, driving me insane. And just seeing people walk past me and just being like, what's wrong with her, like, that's really weird. I ended up, like, sat in the toilets with my head in the toilet being sick. And nobody really understood why, because they all were like, she's just got a headache, why is she being sick in the toilet? I've got a translation upstairs, 15-line translation, of which I've done 3 lines, and I just can't do it. My brain can't function today. How do I explain to my teacher that I had a migraine and I just can't? Like, once you had a migraine, you're wiped out for at least 3 days. So I don't really know what the point of this video is, apart from to say, like, if someone says they have a migraine, take them seriously, because it's not fun. I guess I should talk about the technicalities of it, but basically, from my understanding, and I'm not a professional, there's sort of 3 stages of it. So there's a prodrome, a migraine, and then a postdrome. The prodrome is where you start seeing the warning signs that you're gonna have a headache. So for some people that's like dizziness, tiredness. They see like visual disturbances, which I get mostly every day. Usually if they're worse than normal, that means like you've got a migraine coming. And in the migraine, the pain, the being sick, sometimes you faint, sometimes you lose feeling in your hands and your face, and loads of different symptoms. And the postdrome is what I talked about at the beginning of the video, the after migraine, the hangover. Because I sort of tend to have all of them at once in my life because I have a migraine every day, so it's like everything just mixes up. Once I'm in the postdrome of the migraine, the prodrome of the next migraine is starting. On a daily basis I'll have visual disturbances, I'll be exhausted, dizzy sometimes, I'll have the pain, obviously that's just a constant, and then the lack of concentration, brain fog, confusion. Migraine havers out there, you're doing great. I'm so proud of you. Like, I feel like it's one of those things that not many people really understand, and it's not very well researched either, which is a real shame because it affects so many people. There's no real known reason for it at all. There's so many treatments and no one really knows what the cure is. I'm on antidepressants, you can go on beta blockers, you can have Botox. It's like, try this, try this, try this. We don't know what's going to help you. Like, it's, as I said, it's debilitating. Like, it's a disability, it's a chronic illness. And yet no one can help me because no one knows what to do. And I've got to the point now where, well, firstly, I can't take paracetamol unless it's bad. Yeah, I've nearly taken my monthly allowance in the last day because I've had a really bad migraine. And also, paracetamol doesn't even touch it. Like, the only reason I was taking it before is because it just takes the edge off slightly, but seriously, doesn't touch it. I hope you've enjoyed this video, found it informative. I don't really know what the point of it was, other than to just have a little chat about migraines. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon for a new video. Bye!